Okay, welcome back to this impromptu Tuesday evening session for using the AI to automatically format and style financial documents. Interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Look over here. Elements, use org for your .emacs tangling data. Over here. Welcome back to the Caribou Data Science channel. So now we're going to do something a little funky. We're actually going to as the title suggests, we're going to use Quantmod and R to analyze stock data. And the stock data Sunspot data meaning analyze the number of sunspots per day to see if we can. And we're going to use things like RSI and Bollinger Band. See if we can come up with a see what kind of conclusions we can draw using. You can come to using these using the stock analysis methods. First question is, so you go over here, you can see we got some data. All right, Quantmod looper date. That's really it. Let's see what we got up here. Run this, load our data. And we're just going to use the standard chart series functions inside of Quantmod to try to analyze our stock data. So you can take a look up here. We got a month, a year, a month, a day. Okay, this is a fractional date. We won't use that. Only really interested in is the sunspot data. So the question is, how can we drop columns inside of base R? Okay, because we're only interested in the data from okay, good. It's interesting. We in the subset we do use the we're going to come over here and we're going to use the we're going to come over here, right? We're going to say ISN. Our data is ISN, and the columns we want to remove is let's see. Now it could be interesting to use the fact data. It could be ATE underscore T, right? Now this is actually the format you would use if we were using tidyverse. Okay, fact is C SD deviation, comma provisional PROVIS. So let's see if this works. Good. So now we got our main 4 plots. Next we want to do come over. Next thing we want to do is what? The next thing you want to do is we're only interested in so is it another subset function? Okay. Okay. And the reason we only want to turn, well, we don't really need data prior to 1900. Okay. So let's try this. All. Okay. Right, 1900. We could say, you know, I mean, let's only go back to 1950 because in 1950 the peak the solar maxims began to decline in terms of the number of sunspots reported. Okay, it's like 1952, 53. All right. Let's see if we can create a date now. It should be ISN Luber date. What did we originally do down here? Suppose we said ISN year month and day. So let's see if this works. Okay, next question is, oh, make date. Interesting. Okay, good. Is there another way? So this again is ISN, 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 ISN. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So now we should be able to come down here. Let's begin with 1920. Well, let's begin. Let's begin with 1950, okay? We don't need that because we already created a date column, right? So we come up here. And what I want you to notice is, oh, this is interesting. What? Oh, oh, crap. Oh, we got spaces in between there, don't we? Okay, so let's try something a little funky here. $sign sunspot number as numeric. So what we're seeing is, we're seeing a bunch of we got a bunch of spaces in there, okay? You got a bunch of extra spaces. Okay, good. Again, we're not seeing any we're not seeing any NAs, okay, good. Now we could of course come back down here also and do another select, right? And so now we got that. Let's just come down here. And let's just do a quick plot, okay? Let's just do a quick plot. So we can put this. We can actually put this back up here someplace, right? Let's put it back up there. So now at this point, so the next thing we want to do is right? So we've got a line plot. So now let's do okay. Okay. So we have to convert this because Quantmod uses the XTS package to actually create the data. Okay. So let's see if we can convert our data frame to an XTS package. There it is. Oh, you know what the trouble is? Oh, we have to rename. So how do we rename a column? Well, there's a couple ways to do it, unfortunately. ISN. I think we can use either the column function or the name function. Let's just try names, okay? And so we're going to say ISN uh, close. This is kind of funky, but as you know, it's looking for a closed column, which is why we didn't get anything as far as the let's do this. Let's get rid of our columns first, okay? Right? So this should only leave us with this right there. And this says so we should only we should really only wind up with the year, month, day, and this being named close, and then the date column, okay? So let's see if this works. No, it didn't. Let's do this. Let's come up here like this now. Okay, ISN. Now we only have okay, we haven't got the date yet. Let's do this. Let's create the date column first. All right. All right. Then we can drop day. All right. Oops. Yeah, year column day. Right. So let's try this. Now we only have two columns. So now let's come up here. So now we only have now we only have close, right? what's wrong here? Right, two columns. So now we have to say closing date. So that's close. That's close, but okay, good. So I'm going to rename the columns, right? Get rid of this. All right, let's see what happens now. Okay, so now we got the names. Let's do this. Let's fix this. Let's fix the Sunspot number name so that it is in, what? That's right, that it is a numeric format. Because right now you can see it's a character, right? See this? Oh, now we got a bunch of NAs. Oh no. Oh, what's the problem? We don't have, the trouble is we don't have that, we renamed the column, right? So we're going to okay, let's try it again. Yes, and close. Okay, so we have to move this underneath the rename function, right? Read the data, create the date column, drop the unwanted columns, change the column names to close and date, and then convert the close to numeric. Now the NAs is okay. That's not that big of a hopefully that's not that big of a concern. We've already converted the date. Okay. The last thing we need to do, hopefully, is only extract. And since we no longer have the date column, right, we have to say DATE Alright, let's get rid of this. what we could do is, we could of course fill down the null numbers, right? You can try to do that. Although there's not going to be that many null numbers after 1950. So let's go back up here then. Run this again. Alright. Come back over here. And you now see the earliest data is 1950. How many, we still have some nulls. Alright. Then we're going to convert it into an XTS format. Alright. Let's run our first plot. Okay. So we're saying the last 12 months. Let's say last 2 years, okay? So how about the last 5 years? We're trying to get the okay. So now we begin to see the 10 years. Let's see if we can actually pick up the last. So here you can see where the last thing. What about 20 years? So, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the last peak. Okay, so here is the last peak, and this is the current peak, which began around 1921, and it's continuing, okay? So that's kind of a funky little thing we can do, right? 10 years, what is 10 years? 10 years, this is 2025. So let's say 2015, okay? And if this works, then we shouldn't actually need this, right? Like up here, we convert. Okay, so now we got 2015 up to the current peak, okay? Let's go 2010, because I would like to have 2 peaks, two solar cycles, okay? Okay, so now we're starting to get the beginning of the first solar cycle. Again, this is with a 20-day moving average, So now let's take a look at our first plot, which is a Bollinger Band. And let's comment this out. Let's just go for the whole shebang, okay? Okay, so that's a little crazy in it. So let's just go back over here. Let's say the last 2 years, because again we want to go back. We want to try to capture more of the peak. Okay, so now we're seeing the beginning of this peak here, all right? But we're also seeing a whole lot of volatility in our numbers, okay? You see, it's just like it narrows a couple times, all right? Okay, so that's probably not going to work. Let's just try 1 year. Okay, you can see, even with, look at 1 year, okay. While there's a lot of, most of the sunspot numbers, despite volatility, is, let's try something here. Hmm. Hmm. Is Zoo installed? Interesting. So Zoo is installed. Let's try something a little funky here. Okay, let's try this. Check our time again. So that's about it for today. Let's come back up here. So let's see if this works. So this is the last 12 months. Let's try 3 years. So let's see if we can get a little bit more an idea of what's going on here. So this is 23. 5 years. Okay, so this is where it sort of began. All right. We have a lot of volatility here. One year. Now, what's interesting here is, first of all, we're looking at 1 year, right? This should be January 2025. Let's try 12 months, because 1 year should be April of all right, April of May of 24. Okay, now we go back to May. Now we come back over here. You see a little bit of narrowing down into here, but for the most part, the numbers are staying within the 2 standard deviations. Okay. I'm not quite sure what that means, but that's not the point. What about a plot here? So now we got our relative strength index, right? And what about a quick box plot and So you can see we have a very, most of the days, look over here, 50% of the value of the sunspots per day is between, say, maybe 25 and 100, with some outliers up here, 250 to 300, okay? These should be what the 95%, this should mean, I believe, that the 95% of the values fall between here. And you can see over here, most of the values are less than, say, 150. Particularly you can see that so let's go ahead and render this and see what we got, okay? So if we're looking at stocks, what will we say? Well, I really don't know. I'm not quite sure about that. Did I create a so here's a current thing again with a 100-day moving average, right? And you can see the numbers fluctuate wildly above that. Now we look down, we look at the most recent 12 months data for the as a Bollinger Bands, right? And you can see for the most part the numbers are within the 2 standard deviations, all right? Now we look at this. Now we got the relative strength index, and honestly I'm not quite sure how to interpret that. We got the last 88 days, okay? And now we got our box plot and our histogram. And there you have it. How to analyze stock data, how to use stock methods to analyze sunspot data. There you go. Once again, it's a demonstration of how you can do fun things with you can use the wrong package to get fun results, okay? In this case, the question is,